Necrolemur is a small-bodied omomiid with body mass estimations ranging from 114 grams to 346 grams. Its teeth feature broad basins and blunt cusps, suggesting their diet consisted of mostly soft fruit, though examination of micro-wear patterns suggests that populations from lower latitudes also consumed insects and gums. While they do not sport a true tooth comb like modern lemurs, micro-wear patterns on their lower incisors suggest they engaged in fur grooming behaviors. Like tarsiers, necrolemur had large, front-facing, close-set eyes and were likely nocturnal. Analysis of cranial and postcranial fossils by paleontologists suggest members of the family Omomyidae possessed highly specialized adaptations for leaping. Nails are modified claws, and were probably an evolutionary specialization for grasping. Since they only cover the top of the digit, they leave a large fleshy pad fully exposed for gripping onto surfaces. Counterpressure from the nails also helps to enhance the sensitivity of the fingertip pads, allowing for finer manipulation of things like food items. The earliest known evidence of primate nails comes from the 56-million-year-old Haplorrhini, a tiny 15 cm long marmoset-like animal. Tarsiers are small animals with enormous eyes. Each eyeball is approximately 16 mm in diameter and is as large as, or in some cases larger than, its entire brain. The unique cranial anatomy of the tarsier results from the need to balance their large eyes and heavy head so they are able to wait silently for nutritious prey. Tarsiers have a strong auditory sense, and their auditory cortex is distinct. They also have long hind limbs, owing mostly to the elongated tarsus bones of the feet, from which the animals get their name. The combination of their elongated tarsi and fused tibiofibulae makes them morphologically specialized for vertical clinging and leaping. Their morphology allows for them to move their heads 180 degrees in either direction, allowing for them to see 360 degrees around them. All Tarsier species are nocturnal in their habits, but like many nocturnal organisms, ecological variation is responsible for differences in morphology and behavior in tarsiers because different species become adapted to local conditions based on the level of altitude. For example, the colder climate at higher elevations can influence cranial morphology. Tarsiers tend to be extremely shy animals and are sensitive to bright lights, loud noises and physical contact. They have been reported to behave suicidally when stressed or kept in captivity. Due to their small size, tarsiers are prey to various other animals. Tarsiers primarily inhabit the lower vegetation layers as they face threats from both terrestrial predators. Simias is a genus of early primates. It provides us with a glimpse of a primate skeleton similar to that of the common ancestor of the Haplorrhini. Dating has proven this genus lived from 45 to 40 million years ago in the Middle Eocene. It is unique because of the presence of primitive and derived traits. It provides new insight into the phylogenetic relationships between simians and prosimians. It can best be described as a likely tree dweller that relied on a steady diet of insects and nectar. The red-bellied tedi monkey is a species of tedi monkey, a type of New World monkey, endemic to Brazil. It lives in forests and thickets. It has a rounded head and a thick, soft coat and frequently adopts a characteristic posture with the body hunched, limbs close together and a tail hanging down. It can move quite fast if necessary but rarely does so and generally stays within a fairly small area, feeding on fruit, insects, spiders, small birds, and birds' eggs. It is diurnal and moves in pairs or family groups, which communicate by means of a wide repertoire of sounds. The female gives birth to a single offspring. Tittis are territorial. They live in family groups that consist of parents and their offspring, about 2 to 7 animals in total. They defend their territory by shouting and chasing off intruders, but rarely engage in actual fighting. Their grooming and communication is important for the cooperation of the group. They can typically be seen in pairs sitting or sleeping with tails entwined. Diurnal and arboreal, Pithecidae predominantly prefer dense forests near water. They easily jump from branch to branch, earning them their German name, Springaffen, jumping monkeys. They sleep at night, but can also take a midday nap. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean, and much like Cuba, it originated as part of a late Cretaceous volcanic island. Archenothrix is a primate only known from fragmentary remains, but what is known of its skeleton shows a unique combination of features for a New World monkey. It had a reduced number of teeth in its jaws, with enlarged molars, and oddly shaped heavily built leg bones that resemble those of slow quadrupedal climbers like lorises. It was probably about 70 centimeters long in total, and is thought to have lived a lot like a tree sloth, spending most of its time moving slowly around in the trees and possibly even feeding while hanging upside down. The white-faced saki lives in the understory and lower canopy of the forest, feeding mostly on fruits, nuts, seeds and insects. Although they are arboreal creatures and are specialists of swinging from tree to tree, they are also terrestrial when foraging. White-faced sakis typically live around 14 years in their natural habitat and have been recorded to live up to 36 years in captivity. Sakis are active in the day and sleep highly elevated in trees with many leaves to shelter them from weather and flying predators. The black-bearded saki is one of 5 species of bearded saki. These sakis are medium-sized, mostly frugivorous primates, specialized in seed predation. The genus name Chiropotes means hand drinker, as they have been observed using their hands as ladles for scooping water into their mouths. This behavior is thought to be a way of maintaining and protecting their characteristic beards. The black-bearded saki's habitat has undergone heavy habitat fragmentation, making the future conservation status of the species uncertain. The arboreal bald uakari prefers to reside in seasonally flooded forests in the area of the Amazon River basin. It is important that the uakari is arboreal because of the flooding of the forests and the water rising to great heights during the rainy season. During the dry season, it returns to the ground to look for seeds and other food material. A study of the diet of the uakari found it to consist of 67% seeds, 18% fruit, 6% flowers, 5% animal prey and buds. Its powerful lower jaw forms a pseudodental comb, which allows the uakari to open the hard surfaces of unripe fruits and eat the nuts that most other primates would not be able to open. The bright red facial skin is a sign of good health and allows for the determination of a healthy mate. Due to their location, it is extremely common for these animals to contract malaria. Primates who have contracted the disease are noticeably paler and are not chosen as sexual partners, as they do not have the desired natural immunity to malaria. Woolly monkeys are closely related to spider monkeys. They have a thick brown coat with dark gray appendages. A prehensile tail assists in climbing and fulfills many functions of an opposable thumb. Arm and legs are about equal in length. They usually reside in high-elevation cloud forests, seasonally flooded rainforests, and forests which are situated within Colombia's Eastern Plains region, although their ideal habitat is humid and mature tropical forests. The species lives in social groups ranging from 10 to 45 individuals. Their diets consist of fruit with an addition of leaves, seeds, flowers and invertebrates. Play not only serves as a bonding process to rekindle relationships among individuals, but is also a way the species establishes a hierarchy or social pecking order, as well as passive food sharing, which is also considered a common routine in the species. Woolly monkeys have an elaborate system of vocalization and olfactory, visual and tactile communication. The Peruvian spider monkeys are relatively large among species of monkey, and their strong, prehensile tails can be up to 1 meter long. Unlike many species of monkey, they have only a vestigial thumb, an adaptation which enables them to travel using brachiation. They live in groups of 20 to 30 individuals, but these groups are rarely all together simultaneously. The size and dynamics of the resulting subgroups vary with food availability and socio-behavioral activity. They prefer to eat fleshy fruit, but will change their diet in response to scarcity of ripe fruit. Individuals of this species also eat small animals, insects and leaves based on availability. Their decline is partially due to the fact that these monkeys are targeted by hunters for sale and consumption in the Amazonian bushmeat trade. Furthermore, habitat in the southern part of its range is being developed for agriculture, and habitat in the southwestern Peruvian region of Madre de Dios is being polluted and destroyed by illegal mining activity. In Peru, illicit extraction of timber and wildlife products remain issues even in protected areas. Black howlers share many behaviors with other howler monkeys. They are recognized for their howl, a powerful vocalization. A howler's howl is one of the primate's strongest vocalizations, and it may be heard up to 2 kilometers away. The vocalizations of black howlers have been studied in Brazil, where they mostly vocalize around dawn. Howling is used as a behavioral strategy for displaying territory and regulating intergroup distance. This species is mostly arboreal, rarely coming down to the ground. They are also one of the least active groups of primates, as they are diurnal and spend up to 65% of the day resting or sleeping. Although the diet of the black howler is largely folivorous, it does not prevent the digestion of fruits, figs, mosses, seeds and flowers. It has been classified as near threatened as a result of a recent population reduction due to a variety of human-caused factors. The golden-bellied capuchin is listed as critically endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. Its population has been significantly reduced due to habitat loss and fragmentation. As the name suggests, it is characterized by its light blonde or yellowish fur on its chest and upper limbs, which is a distinguishing feature compared to other capuchin species. It is known for its complex social structure. They live in groups led by an alpha male and exhibit various forms of social interactions, including grooming, playing and vocalizations. Their main threats include habitat destruction due to agriculture, logging and human settlement. Additionally, they are often captured for the illegal pet trade, further impacting their population. The tufted capuchin is more powerfully built than the other capuchins, with rougher fur and a long, thick tail. It has a bundle of long, hardened hair on the forehead that can be raised as a sort of wig. It is a diurnal, arboreal primate species, but it often forages on the ground to search for food or to walk longer distances between trees that are too far apart to jump. The tufted capuchin has been observed using containers to hold water, using sticks, using sponges to absorb juice, using stones as hammer and chisel to penetrate a barrier, and using stones as hammer and anvil to crack nuts. While some of these tasks are relatively simple by cognitive standards, others, like cracking nuts with hammer and anvil, are only exceeded in complexity by chimpanzees. The potential for tool use in animals like the tufted capuchin depends on a number of conditions that would increase its likelihood of appearing in a given species. Van Schaik proposed that the occurrence of tool use would be likely in foraging species if 3 factors were present: manual dexterity, intelligence, and social tolerance. Squirrel monkeys can only sweat through the palms of their hands and feet. This can have the effect of making their hands and feet feel damp to the touch. Squirrel monkeys must make use of other thermoregulation techniques such as behavioral changes and urine washing. These monkeys live in habitats of high temperatures and high humidity, making it essential for them to maintain proper osmoregulation if conditions pass certain thresholds. Color vision studies have also been performed on squirrel monkeys for the purpose of better understanding vision ailments in humans. Black squirrel monkeys have a positive effect on the economy by serving as subjects of biomedical research, being sold to serve as an individual's pet, and serving as a source of food. There are no negative impacts of the species on the economy because of the species' small habitation range that they occupy. Traveling in big groups allows these monkeys to resist their predators more effectively. They have more eyes on their surroundings, which allows them to more easily and quickly alert the pack if they sense danger. If the pack is big enough, the pack may be able to surround certain predators. They are preyed upon by snakes, raptors, and felids. Golden lion tamarins are known for their vibrant, golden-orange fur, long manes around their faces, and a tail with a distinctive golden puff at the end. They have a small body size, and adults typically weigh around 600 to 700 grams. It is classified as endangered, habitat loss due to deforestation, primarily for agriculture and urban development, is a significant threat to their survival. It isolates populations and reduces their ability to find suitable mates. This isolation can lead to genetic issues and increase vulnerability to diseases. They are highly social animals and live in family groups. Family members engage in activities like grooming and playing, and they communicate through vocalizations and body language. They are known to have a specialized diet, feeding on plant exudates such as tree sap. Due to their endangered status, various conservation initiatives have been implemented to protect the golden lion tamarin. These efforts include habitat restoration, reintroduction programs, and the establishment of protected areas. The golden-headed lion tamarin is found only in the lowland and pre-montane tropical forest fragments in the state of Bahia, and therefore is considered to be an endangered species. Its preferred habitat is within mature forest, but with habitat destruction this is not always the case. Several sources seem to have different information on the number of individuals within a group, and the type of social system that may be apparent. Both males and females invest energy in caring for the young, and all members of the group also help with juvenile care. Silvery marmosets are diurnal and arboreal, using their claws to climb trees. Originally rainforest inhabitants, plantations have caused them to expand their range. They spend the night in tree hollows or in very close vegetation. They live together in small groups and mark their territory with scent glands, driving out intruders by shouting or by facial expressions. The diet of the silvery marmosets predominantly consists of tree sap. To a lesser extent, they also eat bird eggs, fruit, insects and small vertebrates. Studies show that silvery marmosets prefer secondary growth forests and edge growth forests due to some of the benefits that the habitat presents, such as an abundance of insect prey and dense vegetation. Common marmosets are relatively small monkeys, with adults typically weighing around 300 to 400 grams. They have a distinctive appearance with white tufts of hair on their ears and a long, furry tail. These marmosets are omnivores and are known to have specialized incisor teeth for gouging tree bark to access sap. They are highly social animals that live in family groups. A typical group consists of an adult breeding pair and their offspring. Cooperative breeding is common, with other group members assisting in raising the young. They communicate using various vocalizations, including high-pitched calls and chattering sounds. They also use body language, facial expressions and scent marking to convey information within the group. Common marmosets are sometimes kept as pets, but this practice is controversial and often discouraged due to the specialized care they require and the potential impact on their populations in the wild. The cotton-top tamarin can live up to 24 years, but most of them die by 13 years. One of the smallest primates, it is easily recognized by the long, white sagittal crest extending from its forehead to its shoulders. The species is found in tropical forest edges and secondary forests in northwestern Colombia, where it is arboreal and diurnal. Its diet includes insects and plant exudates, and it is an important seed disperser in the tropical ecosystem. These tamarins have been extensively studied for their high level of cooperative care, as well as altruistic and spiteful behaviors. Communication between cotton-top tamarins is sophisticated and shows evidence of grammatical structure, a language feature that must be acquired. The species is at risk due to large-scale habitat destruction, as the lowland forest in northwestern Colombia where the cotton-top tamarin is found has been reduced to 5% of its previous area. It is currently classified as critically endangered and is one of the rarest primates in the world, with only 6,000 individuals left in the wild. Night monkeys, also known as duraculles, are nocturnal New World monkeys of the genus Aotis, the only member of the family Aotidae. The genus comprises 11 species which are found across Panama and much of South America in primary and secondary forests, tropical rainforests and cloud forests up to 2,400 meters. Night monkeys have large eyes which improve their vision at night, while their ears are mostly hidden, giving them their name Aotis, meaning earless. They have a varied repertoire of vocalizations and live in small family groups of a mated pair and their immature offspring. They have monochromatic vision which improves their ability to detect visual cues at night. Night monkeys are threatened by habitat loss, the pet trade, hunting for bushmeat, and by biomedical research. They constitute one of the few monkey species that are affected by the often deadly human malaria protozoan Plasmodium falciparum, making them useful as non-human primate experimental subjects in malaria research. Today, for ecology, we are primarily concerned with the carbon impact of human activity and its consequences on the climate. We focus on the development of energies that we like to call green. However, we should especially reflect on what we do with these energies, whether they are green or not. A bulldozer that operates solely on solar energy still has the purpose of destroying tropical forests. It is essential for us to understand that the greatest threat to life on this planet is not the source of the energy we produce but rather what we do with it.